places. Everyone.
We're now broadcasting.
Roll the tape in. 3, 2.
A new audio drama.
Appaloosa Radio is where stories come alive.
Appaloosa Radio is where stories come alive.
Appaloosa Radio is where stories come alive.
Is where stories come alive.
Appaloosa Radio is where stories come alive.
Appaloosa Springs Audio Theatre is a creative collaboration whose purpose is to write, produce, and share original story content through webcast radio experiences.
We welcome original story submissions from authors. Our preference is for works of fiction, but we will also webcast well-crafted autobiographies. Stories with lots of dialogue work best for audio theater. We limit stories to 20 typewritten pages, double-spaced, normal margins. To emphasize, we accept only stories from their original authors.
We offer authors two correlated opportunities to webcast their stories. First, we publish stories to our website Appaloosa Radio Productions. And we also publish to our podcast Appaloosa Radio Podcast. The Appaloosa Radio Productions website offers a permanent archive for our authors' stories. Our podcast offers authors the opportunity to share their stories widely across multiple platforms. Anyone, anywhere can listen to their stories within minutes of its posting. The Appaloosa Radio Productions website currently organizes stories into 10 distinct collections. Bus Stop, Contemporary Urban Stories. Dogwood Blooms, Stories with a Southern Slant. Through Panes of Glass, Personal Stories of Struggle and Success. Swirls, Relationship Stories. As Crows Come, Mystery and Crime Stories, and Valor, Stories of Courage and Honor. Omnidirectional stories with a sci-fi bent. Cowboy Motel stories drawn from the American West. Near and far stories of fantasy. And humor me just to make you laugh. The Appaloosa Radio Podcast uploads stories twice a week. Audio stories can be accessed through a variety of services including Apple Podcasts, Audible, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podfriend, and Buzzsprout.
For production purposes, an audio story may be either a single voice story or a multi-voice story. A single voice story has one narrator, or voice, throughout. It can be a story read by an individual, usually the story's author. Or it can be voiced using text-to-voice software, particularly Amazon Polly. A single voice story can have music and sound effects, accompanying and amplifying the narration, but generally both music and sound effects are somewhat limited, letting the single voice carry the story. A multi-voice story is often more like a drama in which the various characters voice individual parts. For production purposes, each voice must be individually recorded and then the various voices must be woven together to make a cohesive whole. Music and sound effects are more common in multi-voice stories. Like a single-voice audio story, a multi-voice story can use real actors. However, bringing real actors together often requires considerable logistical planning. During COVID, Appaloosa Radio used only Amazon Polly's computer-generated voices for its multi-voice stories. As a whole, these stories have worked well and have been well accepted by our listeners.
The process of generating an audio story starts with a Word doc file. We also need to know the types of music that the author wishes to accompany the story. We find that a typical 15-page story can be translated into the Amazon Polly Voices in just a couple of days. It sounds very good, but remember, it is not perfect. It sometimes stumbles over some of the simplest words. We need cover art for the thumbnail image that the site uses to identify the story. The image should be in JPG format and needs to be of high resolution. iPhone photos work great. We also need a 150 to 200 word blurb to introduce the story. Finally, we encourage authors to submit a photo and a brief biographical sketch that we can add to the authors section of the website.
Our website is designed for G or PG rated content. We cannot accept content that contains profanity, extreme violence, or pornography.
In submitting a story for our audio theatre webcast, authors retain their full copyright ownership authority. We do not own the story, nor do we have rights to use it elsewhere. A story remains on Appaloosa Radio only insofar as an author desires it to remain posted. At any time, authors may request that we remove from the website any story or stories that have been submitted to us. We are a not-for-profit community of artists. Appaloosa Radio does not accept advertising. So, we cannot pay you for your work, nor can we provide royalty payments. However, our services are offered free of charge to authors. No payments are ever required. Contact us for additional information.